Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Simon and today I'm back with something that I thought I might start doing every month. Well, if you've been around here for a while, you'll know that I'm not really a fan of official TBRs. As soon as I make a TBR, the contrary fairy within me comes to the fore even more than usual and is like, no, now that you've mentioned all those books, I don't want to read them. And so I've never really done monthly TBRs, but what I thought I could do, as you'll have seen from the thumbnail title, is a top of the TBR. So the books that some I'm going to have to read for work anyway, delightfully, thankfully, then any books that kind of I've sort of got for prompts or anything like that. I have got a bit of a new thing that I'm trying out in terms of reading the books that I buy every month within the month that I buy them. I was going to say as I go, I haven't done that at all. I tried in August and managed to read half of the books that I bought, so I thought that was pretty decent. Anyway, we'll come back to that in a little bit. Plus, just any books that I've kind of got on my periphery, any most anticipated books or any books that kind of have come to my attention because of prizes or lists of some other sort or different publishers. So yeah, that's what I thought I would do in these videos. Well, I'm going to save this video for now because if you don't enjoy it, let me know in the comments. Well, I'm hoping you'll let me know that you do enjoy it in the comments down below. But also, like, if you're like, actually no, Simon, we don't want this every month from you, then I'll take that all on board. So first up, I'm going to talk to you about books that I need to read for work. I am going back into the swing of events after having pretty much most of the summer off, with the exception of hosting the wonderful Anton Her back in August. I have one gig this month, which is actually going to be a week today as this goes live on the 19th of September. And that is with the wonderful Kate Atkinson, who's one of my all-time favourite authors. I'm so excited that I'm doing an event with her. I have had the pleasure of interviewing her for the channel. I'll link that video down below. And yeah, I've been a fan of hers ever since my gran introduced me to her books. My mum is also like a huge fan of hers and will be at the event that I'm going to be doing. Also because the event is in a really, well, it feels like a real full circle moment because the venue that we're doing the event in is a really kind of nostalgic place of importance to me and Mum, because it's going to be at the Tyneside Cinema, which is where we used to go every Saturday when Mum was a student at Newcastle University, and I would have been she would have been 19, I'd have been about 3 until, I don't know, 5 or 6. And they used to do a raffle there every Saturday, and I think it was after the first or second time we went, they would sort of fix it so that Mum would win, I think because they realised that she was a single mum and a student. And yeah, it's going to be very surreal as both being there together and it being me interviewing a favourite author of both of ours. Anyway, so very much looking forward to this. Now, before I read this, I realised that I haven't read the previous Jackson Brodie novel, and it is one of my favourite series, and I think I held off on this one because I didn't know when the next one was going to be coming out. So yeah, so I need to read Big Sky and Death at the Sign of the Rook within the next week, which is an absolute treat, because I just love Kate Atkinson's writing so much. She's so wry, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to having a conversation with her because I think it'll be a real treat, but I think she'll definitely keep me on my toes, as I should be kept. So yeah, really looking forward to getting to those imminently. Then I have quite a few events in October, and I'm actually, I think, doing 6 authors in the space of 1 week, which is going to be a delight, a time, and I think I might vlog that if you're interested in seeing that side of what I do, I guess. So the first of those is going to be on Sunday the 6th of October, and the reason I'm going to read these this month is because I'm hopefully going to be away from the last few days of September until the 4th or 5th of October, having an actual holiday. I mean, imagine, and I'm just going to take holiday reads for that. And whilst again, these will all be a lot of fun to read, there is a slight difference in my reading with kind of worky books, and maybe that should be part of that vlog. I don't know. Anyway, back to what I was saying. On the 6th of October in Chester at Story House, I will be in conversation with Richard Ayoade about the unfinished Harold Hughes. And I'm really intrigued for this because it, I think, is like a Mackie take of biographies, I think. And that really intrigues me. And so, yeah, very much looking forward to hosting Richard then. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about. I'll put all of the links to the events down below where I have them. Then I'm going back to Cheltenham for the first time since we filmed Sky Arts live from Cheltenham. When was that? That was quite a long time ago. But yeah, I haven't been back since, but I'm super duper excited for going back to talk to Fred Sirieux about Seriously British, or it could be Seriously British. Oh, sorry, my low power battery came on and I don't know if you saw that or not, and I'm not editing this video. So anyway, yeah, I'll be interviewing Fred about his, well, A Frenchman's Love Letter to Britain, and I think it's going to be very funny. Apparently it's told with real warmth and affection. I can hear his gorgeous accent every page, Lorraine Kelly says, and he does have a lovely accent. And I'm really, really intrigued to talk to Fred. I've been a fan of his since first dates, and I think it's going to be really interesting the way he writes about Britain through the eyes of someone who came here and had heard certain things about the country already, and I think he turns a lot of that on his head. So very, very excited for that. Then that's on Tuesday the 8th of October at Cheltenham. I don't think I said that. Then on Wednesday the 9th of October at lunchtime, I'm hosting a tea and cake delight of an event with the lovely Paula Hawkins. The Blue Hour is coming out in October and is Paula's latest thriller. I love Paula and I love her thrillers. I've loved every single one since The Girl on the Train. Actually interviewed her way back when that came out. So yeah, really, really looking forward to chatting to her about this at Lingham's in Heswall. So there's a lot of trains coming, so I'll have a lot of time for reading. And then the evening in Liverpool, I sadly think this is sold out, but there might be like a waiting list or stuff. But I'll be interviewing Mackie about What a Way to Go. And I'm really excited to interview her again. I last interviewed her a few years ago in Liverpool for How to Kill Your Family. And yeah, really, really looking forward to this. I think this is going to be a real romp, and actually might be the one book that I take on holiday with me, because I think it'll have, whilst I'll be reading it with like a hosting an event mindset, I think it's also going to be a real romp too. So yeah, but maybe I'll just read it before then, who knows. So we have that, and then that same week, but on the Sunday, which is the 13th of October in Durham, as part of Durham Book Festival. I nearly said something else. I nearly mixed up the B and the F there. I'll leave you to work out what it is that I was about to potentially say. But I'm delighted that I'll be interviewing Tracy Chevalier about The Glassmaker. This is the proof edition. And we'll be, I think that's at about 1 o'clock in Durham. Really, really looking forward to that. It's also being streamed. So if you can't get there, you can watch it online. Durham Book Festival will do that with all of their events, which I think is brilliant. So very much looking forward to this, and just looking forward to spending time with Tracy as well, which will be a delight. And then in the early evening on Sunday the 13th, I'll be in conversation with Rebecca F Kuang about Yellowface, which I'm going to be rereading. I read this when it was at like the peak of the hype. I think it'll be really interesting to go back to it now and see how I feel about it, if I feel any different or not, because I know Nathan over at Nathan's Nook, who I feel like I'm pushing on you all at the moment, but frankly, you need his videos in your life. But yeah, he read it away from the hype and got loads more out of it, and I think had a bit more of a nuanced read, whereas I kind of rushed through it. Funny enough, on holiday actually. So yeah, looking forward to going back to reading this. Then on the 19th of October, so a week later on the Saturday, or just under a week later on the Saturday, I will be interviewing the wonderful Ingrid Persaud about the lost love songs of Boise Sing. We were meant to do an event earlier this year in Manchester, and I just started the book when they said actually we can't do that event. So I'm thrilled that I'm going to be able to go back and finish this book and read it before that event. It's not just Ingrid that I'll be interviewing though at Wimbledon Book Festival, it's also Ferdia Lennon. I'm so excited because if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know how I feel about Gloria's Exploits, and also the wonderful Sinead Gleeson, who has written why is the name of the book gone completely out of my head? That's so bad. Hagstone. I wanted to call it Hatchback, I don't know why. Anyway, I'll be interviewing the three of them at Wimbledon Book Festival, so that's very exciting. I may also possibly be doing another event then, but not sure yet. So that's all books that I need to read by the beginning of October-ish for work. Well, a couple of them by next week. Then, as I mentioned, I wanted in August to try and read everything that I bought to become more intentional with my book buying. Now, I didn't manage it because I was a naughty sausage and ordered some books sort of over halfway through the month, so they arrived just at the end of the month, so I didn't get to them in time, plus went to a bookshop on the last day of the month and bought something there. But I would like, once I've sorted this pile of books here, which is going to happen this weekend, I'm determined, and then have my book trolley free, because that's all over there. Shall I show you the slight horrors of what's going on here? Look at that. Look at that absolute pandemonium. That was a panorama of bookish pandemonium. Anyway, I'm going to sort that out this weekend, and then I'll have my book trolley free, and what I want to do is put these on the top, and then have a sort of a section where I can keep all the books that I bought that I haven't read from the previous month, so that I can kind of try and work, oh, they're a little bit low now and I don't like it. I can try and work my way through them. So the books from last month are, and I won't go into details about what each of these are about, but we've got I'll Go On by Huang Junyan, translated by Emily Ye Wan from Tilted Access Press. I bought these two books because they're now out of print, I think, so I got them on World of Books. I've mentioned this before, apparently that is a like new edition of a book. It's not, it's battered, it's got cracks all over the cover. World of Books sometimes really do me wrong. Anyway, this is Tokyo Eno Station by Yu Miri, translated by Morgan Giles, and I would like to read the end of August at some point over the autumn, but because that's such a big chunky book, I think I'm pushing that further back to when it gets quieter on the book event front, because November there's going to be quite a few authors that I'm interviewing, so yeah, but I would like to read this because people have raved about this, so yeah, we've got that one. Then I also got Brandy Sour by Costanza, oh, I'm making words up now. Brandy Sour by Constantia Sotorio, translated by Lena Protopara, and this is a book about Cyprus, told from both the Cypriot Greeks and the Cypriot Turks, when things were quite difficult in history, understatement actually, and I was recommended this at Patreon Book Club last month when we all read different books translated by women, by the lovely Jamila, who said it had like shades of The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak, which I'll be talking about Elif shortly. But yeah, so this is a short book, and I want to make sure that I'm still reading quite a lot of books, not even quite a lot of books. I'd like to have a lot more books in translation in my reading diet, which is good because this next one, is the one after that translated? I don't know if it is. Let me just check. No, but this one is translated, and that's Claudia Pinheiro's Time of the Flies, translated by Frances Riddell. Now, I think this is a sequel to one of Claudia's previous books, All Yours, that I read, if it wasn't last year, it was the year before, and absolutely loved, about a woman who sees her husband sort of having an incident with his mistress, and she decides to help cover up the situation, and this is told when she is released from prison. So, and if you think, oh Simon, you've just given away the whole plot of All Yours, I haven't, because there's so many twists and turns in it and it's so brilliant. So yeah, we have that one. And then the book that I bought on the last day of last month was Behind You Is the Sea by Susan, keep adding us onto everything, by Susan Muadi Daraj, and I got this in the wonderful bookends in the lovely town of Wellington, where if you do go and just for a visit for that bookshop, frankly, but also make sure you head to Park Street Kitchen, which is the most amazing Caribbean food. This book is a multi-generational novel about a Palestinian family, so yeah, want to get to this one. So they're all the books that I bought in August that I didn't get around to. On the 1st of September, I did buy myself a book, because that was when, after going to the bookends on the Saturday, it was a weekend at my mum's, and we went to Booker in Bridgnorth on the Sunday, and I picked up Rare Singles by Benjamin Myers. Look at the spreading on that. I have a proof of this, so this is going to stay delightfully pristine, but I want to make sure that I get to that this month. That's all on the books that I bought so far this month, which I think is pretty good, because we're on the 11th, and I actually went to Foyles yesterday and came away with nothing, foilless, frankly. Then the Savage reading prompt for September is a book with a volcano on the cover, and I have two to choose from. My initial plan was to read My Volcano by John Elizabeth Stinsey, which is about a volcano that suddenly appears in the middle of Central Park and sounds brilliant. I have already read a book with a volcano on the cover technically, which is Strangers at the Port by Lauren Amy Curtis, which we did for September's Patreon book club pick. But I thought, well, while I'm at it, why not fit in as many volcano featuring books as possible? And I have to say, and we will be doing a call out for Savage Reading Prompts 2025 in the not too distant future. That is one of my favourite prompts, a book with a volcano on the cover. The other one I think was a book with a snake on the cover, just because they're a bit tricky, but not like trying to catch you out tricky. Just like, oh, it's really good fun to go and look. So that's kind of, I think for me, the sweet spot with a prompt. Anyway, the other book is The Volcano Daughters by Gina Maria Balibrera. And I don't know too much about this other than I absolutely loved the cover. I think, it's set in El Salvador in the shadow of the Izalco volcano. And apparently it's a Syrian original novel about sisterhood art and a community of women who refuse to be silenced, which just sounds brilliant. I think the publisher's sending Mum a copy of this as well. So yeah, very excited for that. I mentioned Elif Shafak, and we're going to head to like books where there's some of the books I'm most excited about this year. Or some of my most anticipated, and I know that There Are Rivers in the Sky has been out for a little while now. I keep putting off reading it because I want to almost read it like in the perfect time, which is never realistically going to happen, but I don't want to be reading when I'm travelling here and there, and work this week and next week is pretty intense, and then things calm down. I don't want to take this on holiday because I don't want to batter it about, so I want to try and read it, I think, before I go on holiday at the end of this month. So yeah, I need to find a weekend where I have no other plans but to settle down with this, because I just want to get completely lost in it and devote my whole self to it because I'm so excited for it. Not that I'm putting any pressure on it at all. Another most anticipated book that I'd like to get to is Glyph by Ali Smith, the first of a duology. The other one is called Glyph but spelled differently. There's a great comment by Becky on here saying, think of the librarians, Ali. Think about what they're going to do when somebody asks for a book by her called Glyph, and which one is it? And, anyway, I don't know anything about this. I want to go and know nothing at all, so very excited for that. And then we have a few books by authors where I've read their books before and would like to get to them again. I'm so excited for this. I didn't know it was coming out, but this is Curdle Creek by Yvonne Battle Felton. It sounds spooky and creepy, and Yvonne wrote Remembered, which I just thought was utterly phenomenal. It was up for the Women's Prize, and that's how I got to it, and I just absolutely loved it. And I did an event with her and she was phenomenal. So yeah, very, very, very excited for this. It does sound creepy. It's about a house where people feel they're protected, but they're clearly absolutely not. Then we have Small Rain by Garth Greenwell. I've mentioned this a few times, I think, on the channel. This is about a man who falls ill before the pandemic and ends up in hospital as the pandemic hits, and we go on from there. Sounds intriguing. I'm aware the light is going, so I'm going to whiz through this. Intermezzo. I loved Normal People. I liked, what was her debut? I can't remember right now. And then I really enjoyed Mr. Salary, the short story that was published. Conversations with Friends, I thought that was fine. I haven't read Beautiful World, Where Are You? But I do want to get to this at some point because I've heard it's quite different. Whereas I think my criticism of Sally's writing is I think she's a brilliant writer, but the three novels, well, the first two felt similar, like people who can't communicate, then they all go on a holiday to Europe and have kind of a nice time, but come back getting a bit miserable and still can't communicate, but it sort of sorts itself out, but it sort of doesn't. I think this is different. It's about brothers, but maybe they don't communicate. And then as it's getting historical, as it's getting darker, quite literally right now, I'm in the mood for more historical books, and I'm really excited for All the World Beside by Garrard Connolly, which came out a few months ago. I really loved his memoir about his parents trying to have him straightened out, Boy Erased. Yeah, so I really want to read this. Apparently it's a fantastic queer historical novel, which I am here for. Also, that Hot Publishing Pink on the cover, and then linking in with, well, a trio of books that link in with what I've just said, because they're, well, two of them have 2 of the books are by authors who I've read before and really enjoyed their books, but it is 3 of the books that are on the Booker long list. They may well be on the short list, which is announced next week, and I may read the short list, but if I do, that will definitely be in October, so I'll talk about that more in next month's top of the TBR if you want me to do it again. But the first of those is Sarah Perry's Enlightenment, which I'm really keen to read, kind of regardless of whether it, like, part of me is like, wait until the shortlist is announced, but then also part of me is like, no, just read it because you really want to. I loved The Essex Serpent so much. I wasn't such a fan of Melmoth. I really enjoyed After the Flood, her debut, so I'll be interested to see how I feel about this one. I've heard a mixture of things. Some people absolutely adore it, some people aren't sure. I want to make my own mind up and try it out. And then the other 2 that I own, in fact, now I also have Creation Lake, but I can't find it because of what you could see when I panned this room before. But I would like to get to James by Percival Everett, regardless of whether it gets shortlisted or not, and Headshot by Rita Bullwinkle, because again, this is one that I've heard mixed things about. So I'm intrigued, but I like the idea of a book set in over different rounds of boxing. But yeah, I don't know. I might hold off with these 2 until after the shortlist is announced. Like I said, I want to read them regardless either way. And maybe I will read the shortlist. I don't know, my mum did talk about it briefly, but we'll see. I might just go solo if she doesn't want to, or she might go solo if I decide I don't want to, but I think I would quite like to. But then at the same time, are you all Bookered out? Because there is a lot of Booker content, which is not a criticism, just a fact, because I'm sure when the Women's Prize long list gets out, people feel very similarly about that, and they're like, oh, there's a lot of content around that. So yeah, there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'd like to see it again. Let me know in the comments down below what's the top of your TBR right now in September, and let me know if you've read any of these books, if you enjoyed them. If you haven't enjoyed any of them, don't let me know that now. No, don't let me know that now. Let me know that after I've read them and I've wrapped them up, and we can have a chat, well, about all sorts then. We can talk about the books inside out, frankly. But yeah, that would be lovely of you. I'm going to go before it gets even duller. And I mean, jumpers are out. It's my favourite time of year. Let's not lie about it. Although we are still I'm not going to do a weather report. Let's all move on. Like I said, would love to hear what is top of your TBR right now. And if you'd like more of my shenanigans, quite literally in my Patreon, I'm vlogging every week with weekly Savage Shenanigans, and there are other tiers with other delights there if you would like. Also, my Instagram, my artist formerly known as Twitter, my wish list, and other things are all rinky-dink linked below. And I will see you in another video very soon. Quite possibly Sunday. We'll see. Bye.